So my go-to was regular Mountain Dew because I never got to have the real stuff. And so when we would have gamer nights, or I would want to be playing video games like, playing Knights of the Old Republic with my controller under my sheets, it would be regular Mountain Dew. So,
if you want to see Dag crack open a cold 2-liter of Diet Mountain Dew Cold Red Diet, give me a hell yeah!
Hell yeah! I need to crack open some ice cold Dagweiser. Oh man. Hello and welcome to Grass Touchers, the show where the three of us pals talk about video games despite how little time we have for them, but that's okay. Things are still great. I am Jake.
I am Jared.
And I'm Greg.
Let's get right into the video games. Jared, what have you got for us, my man?
Oh, man. Dota is going well. I'm steadily climbing the ranks. Pretty happy about that. Locking in.
Is it like sort of silver, gold, plat? Like what's the system there?
There's like every rank up to like the last, like the big boy ranks are like a 5-rank system, and there's like 7 or 8 tiers total. And I'm currently in the 2nd tier. It's a pretty brutal game. People are been playing it for
all those people up there.
People have been playing it a long time. I mean, I got a guy on my friends list who I used to play with when I was in high school. He worked with my mom, and he has been playing. I've seen him consistently playing this game over the years since then, and he's a rank below me. So
wow,
it's the type of game.
Hopes are high.
Yeah, it's a tough game.
Dang,
been doing that. Warhammer, Total War, Warhammer 3 was heavily discounted this week, and I've always kind of wanted to get into it. And it looks like the type of game that's like, the people that played are like, if you're not playing this game, what are you doing? It's just so awesome, and it does look awesome, and yeah, seeing the little armies like clash and fight each other and military strategy is all kind of cool. So I got that, and I've just recently started playing that, and I will have updates as we go.
Yeah, dude.
And at some point,
you should get some captures if you can. I want to see that bad boy in action. Or you could like play it for a second, and we'll watch you play it for a second. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I would love that actually, because I have a feeling that I'm doing the tutorial, the prologue campaign, and I already almost blew it on one of the missions. Like, I almost lost everybody because I was getting too frisky.
RTSs can be that way if they're stingy with resources and they sort of set you up with this thing that you have to do, but you don't know how to get from point A to point B. You don't know how to get to
And the units have different like strengths against other units, and I just was like throwing the wrong guys against the wrong guys and just getting clapped.
Yeah.
I received my Anbernic a Game Boy SP illegal bump stock Game Boy from the dark web today.
Yeah, the dark web.
And it's pretty cool. It comes with a little stock OS. I was playing Tekken 3 on it earlier today. I really like this thing already.
Dude,
but,
right on.
Yeah, more to come on that. Besides that, I ran out of gas today. That's what I've been up to, going to get gas, going to Walmart. I got to tell you, fellas, and I'll probably...
It do be like that. We pride ourselves in talking about real life over here. We really do. The new baby's coming along, running out of gas. You know, it's adult mode
it's
over
everything.
Here.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jared was not a gas toucher earlier. If you know what I'm saying.
I sure was not.
You know what I'm saying.
What's the deal with
What's
gasoline?
going on with gasoline? Honestly, though, I got a Jerry Seinfeld what's going on. What's going on with the people in the Rascal scooters that are just they're just rolling? There was a guy who went to the gas station that I was pumping gas from, and he just went in, like rolled in to the lot, and then just left. Why are you? And I was
going
angry.
For a drive on his rascal.
Yeah, on his rascal, which our taxes probably paid for because he ate too many McDonald's burgers and Frosties and got his leg cut off from diabetes, now lives off of disability, and he's just rolling through Circle K on my dime, dude. I'm sitting there pumping gas, and I'm like, I paid for this guy, for this chair, and all you can do is just stroll through Lely Plaza on your stupid little rascal. I got a problem with that, dude. I don't want to go off on people who are handicapped, but
go off, Queen.
I honestly, I'm about to speak on it. This guy, I could tell this guy was up to no good, dude.
Oh yeah,
dude.
What is he smuggling under that rascal,
bro? He's flicking boogers and pinching butt cheeks and stuff. He's not doing anything like good with his time. I know he's not. So,
dang, dude.
Big shout out to that guy. Frick that guy. I don't want to say anything too mean, but frick that guy, dude. And his is so small, bro. Can you lose Can you lose that from diabetes?
Oh, you can lose anything from diabetes if you diabetes hard enough. You know what I mean? Like,
dang, dude.
Diabetes nuts. You know what I mean?
Oh! That's what he said to the doctor. He's like, Mr. Hampton, I'm afraid we're going to have to amputate your penis. And he's like, you can diabetes nuts, pal. He's like, this is not a joke. We're cutting off your nuts, whether you like it or not.
I actually just administered the sedative. We're doing the surgery right now.
Yeah, it's happening right now.
You're not.
He
was out.
He just wakes up like a dog in the pound, just like, where are they? Unable
Raggy,
to lick his own nuts late at night.
Where are my vesicles?
Raggy.
So that's what I did today.
Don't get me on that. I'll never stop laughing. Oh my god. Cool, Dag, your turn, bud. What's new? You squeezing anything in before baby time?
Yeah. Obviously, baby coming up. Hopefully this Sunday, we're going into the hospital and gonna have us a baby by midday Monday, as long as things go well. Actually, this week I started kind of getting back into video games, which is exciting. I tomorrow am gonna spend some time jumping back into Elden Ring, DLC coming out soon. Super excited. I actually have like a block of time planned off tomorrow where I told my wife, I was like, look, I have to finish my Elden Ring playthrough. And that's just like, my child is important to me, but so is Elden Ring. And so
one of those two things is here in front of me now. And so I'm going to, until Monday.
Yeah. And I've been watching several videos. There's all sorts, as any time expansion comes out, there's all sorts of videos about how to prepare yourself for the Elden Ring DLC. Here's what you should do to min-max your character. All these things.
Nice.
One of the things I haven't done in Elden Ring is play a sorcery build, like play like a magic character. I've just obviously I have, because I'm been doing a 100% playthrough. I have all the spells and all the things, but I don't have the stats for all that stuff. Right? Like Elden Ring is one of those games where, to do a true sorcery build, you have to have the stats and you have to have the gear and want to like fully do that. And so, but been preparing for that, which is very cool. But and we'll talk about this when I do my segment. But I have been playing Spiderman Remastered for the PlayStation 5, and it has been totally rad. Got lots to talk about with that, but that's what I've been up to. What about you, Jake?
The latest is already a portion of it is on YouTube. We had the three of us boys an incredible PUBG night last night. We hit three of them back to back, and first round was second place. We did pretty good. You can see the end result of that match on YouTube. There's a short where I absolutely fumbled the bag despite my best efforts. And in Jared's words, I did everything right sort of like tactically. I was doing all the things that I thought should be done, but it just did not matter because it was like 1v3, and yeah, it was tough. But after that, we had 2 chicken dinners in a row, and it was out friggin' standing. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I'm so hot and cold with PUBG. I know that you guys already know that by now because my rage quitting is very quick to just literally uninstall the game because I get like I can't see a path forward that is anything other than a suckfest. On certain nights, PUBG is just punishing because of just bad luck, because it's a game that has some RNG to it. Yep. But last night was one of the good ones, and it was delightful. Honestly, it's that and Star Citizen for me right now. Star Citizen is still super, super cool. It is still an alpha. It still has problems. I expressed in our last episode that a lot of the problems that used to be there are now gone, but now there's new problems because the way these patches work in such an early build of the game, it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. You're always going to have something that's kind of working against you, something that's not quite refined, because despite, all this progress they've made, all the detail-oriented design they have, the ship models are incredible, the graphics are really incredible. They keep pushing out new features, like a new thing, when the stuff they already have is not 100% yet. And that's a wild design choice. Like in the process of development, I would think that you want things that you have to work before you add more stuff onto the pile, but that's just not how they have rolled. They've had a very rapid development cycle that has made it so that there's instability and then a slightly more stable version of that thing, but then a new thing on top, which is now an unstable thing. And it can get chaotic. The best example of that I can give you is missiles. In that game, you can launch missiles from your ship, and they're a very rewarding part of the gameplay because there's anywhere between size 1 and size 9 missiles. I think it's after it's size 5, they're actually classified as torpedoes because they're so huge. The explosions are incredible. They're really sick. But I have a Drake Corsair. That's my largest ship. It's a great multi-crew vessel. One day I'm sure we'll give Star Citizen a try when it's more stable, and I'll take you guys on it. But it's got turrets. It's got tons of guns. The pilot alone can control 6 cannons of different kinds, whatever you have equipped. I just have laser cannons on there. And then I think there's a battery of 4 missile racks, and mine are currently configured to shoot size 3 missiles. So I was going for this bounty, and I hit the missile button to go into missile mode, and I got a lock. But the way that they've changed the flight system and the targeting mechanics, the missiles just like sometimes they hit, sometimes they don't. You just don't have any control over it. And it's like, oh, this is stupid. This is one of my favorite parts of the game is like, flying to this target and ambushing them and surprising them and hitting them with a missile and then strafing them one time and they're done. And so there's parts of that game that are still really engaging and I still really enjoy it. Basically, I boot it up, and then as soon as it's given me any grief, I just Alt F4. I'm like, try again tomorrow. Right. My character will just respawn at the station, and I'll try again another time. So
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
I love that game.
When I have kids, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna be like,
just Alt F4.
As soon as they piss me off, and be like, all right, go to your room, go to bed. Day's over.
Try again tomorrow.
Yeah, try again tomorrow, pal. Like, what about dinner? I'm like, I don't even. Do you guys hear something? Do you guys even hear something? No, I wouldn't do that to myself. Life is precious.
This is a big joke.
Even if you're in a rascal scooter just living off of our taxes.
Not letting that go anytime soon, I see. That's good.
No. It goes on my list.
But yeah, things are pretty good over there with Star Citizen and PUBG. I'm going to just kind of keep it chill between those two. You talking about RTSs, Jared, and the Warhammer thing. What you described with having different units that have strengths and weaknesses, and like you accidentally let some of them die, and oops, those were actually really, really critical to this next thing or whatever. Yep. Reminds me of the game Homeworld. I don't know if you ever played Homeworld. It was like an early 2000s space RTS, and the third one of those just came out. Homeworld 3. It's been in development for a long time. I was thinking about checking that out.
That's not anything like Home Alone for the Sega Genesis, is it?
It's not.
No.
It's really not.
It's the only one
Much to your chagrin, I'm sure, yeah.
Best RTS of all time in my mind. In my opinion.
That's not it's not an RTS.
I don't know.
A Home Alone RTS where there's like the 2 burglar dudes and then like Macaulay Culkin, and you're controlling like a bunch of little marbles on the ground.
Yeah, dude. His army of tarantulas and marbles.
Real trap simulator.
Yeah. The old man with the snow shovel. He's one of my commanders.
Yeah, there you go. It's a valuable unit right there, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, Remastered is wild to me, Deg. I'm stoked to get into this segment because I love GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era Spider-Man 2. That was like a breakthrough, freaking revolutionary game.
Yes.
And the idea that this one is remastered already is wild to me because I don't have a PS5 and I missed out on both of these, the first one and the second one. How is it? Is it the most gorgeous freaking Spider-Man romp ever? Like, what is up?
It's a blast. So the original Spider-Man game that came out for the PlayStation 4, well, let's take a step back. There have been a lot of Spider-Man games that have been released for various consoles and PC over the years. One of the most well-known ones is, like Jake said, Spider-Man 2 came out for GameCube and I believe Xbox and PlayStation 2, all the things, and was very popular. And that was the first game that introduced the concept of when Spider-Man shoots a web to grapple onto buildings, it actually hits a building, right? Like it doesn't just go off into space and hit the sky.
For that to be physicalized was huge.
Yeah, big deal. So the original Spider-Man by Insomniac Games, which is a wonderful game studio. I believe it's the same gaming studio that came out with the original Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. Am I crazy? Am I think that's the same company, right? I believe it's the same company. Well-known game developer. They came out with this game. It came out in 2018 for the PlayStation 4. So it's interesting they've already remastered a game that only came out 6 years ago. But Spider-Man Remastered for PS5, it's a blast. It's a romp and a half. I got it on sale on the PlayStation Online store for $20. It was pretty cheap. And guys, I've just had an awesome time playing that game. It's so much fun. So I'm going to talk about a few of the gameplay aspects of it.
I want to hear it.
And then I'm going to talk about what you guys think about licensed games.
Real quick, I think that might have been Neversoft.
I just looked it up.
You're correct. It's
Neversoft.
Neversoft. Yep, you're correct.
Neversoft.
I think Insomniac did the Infamous games.
That's correct.
Which were cool games.
And it feels like an Infamous game, which Infamous is. Those are the games with the. I talked about that on the pod a couple of months ago, where you have lightning abilities and things like that. Platformer, blast.
Really kind of a similar vibe. The whole. There's been a couple games like this. I think of Crackdown. I confused it with that Rock the Dwayne Johnson film.
Rock the Dwayne. Wow.
Yeah.
By the way, that was my nickname in high school. Neversoft.
Nah.
You
beat me to that.
Because I was a tough guy. Because I was a tough guy, not because any other reasons.
That's right. Neversoft, always hard in the streets. That's right. There's a series of games that I can picture in my head that were all you're a dude with powers in a city. That was the gist of the games, and there were several of those. For the audience, Neversoft is a studio that opened in 1994. They're famous for putting out the Tony Hawk Pro Skater series from 1999 to 2007, and then Spider-Man in the year 2000. There was a game called Gun that was a sort of a spiritual predecessor to the Red Dead kind of thing. That was a launch title for 360, I think, in 2005. And then the Guitar Hero series, 2007 to 2010. And then they had a hand in some of the Call of Duty series from 2011 to 2014. Parent company is, of course, Activision. Neversoft rocks, dude. I remember seeing their logo thing of the Neversoft, and then the eyeball.
Yeah,
and
that was
then, the little
gross.
thing right through the eyeball. Yeah, that was freaking cool, dude.
So Insomniac is most well known for Spyro the Dragon and Ratchet and Clank are their two main main series
for babies.
Yes, of course. Games, or as the average person would call them, massively popular, super fun games that Jake thinks are for babies.
Absolutely kidding. Ratchet and Clank slaps. There was a game for was it late PS2 or PS3? I played some Ratchet and Clank game with a pal one time, and I was like, okay, this is pretty radical.
Yeah. So it's a well-known game studio, right? They're known for producing quality video games, as we would call them. They're also currently developing Marvel's Wolverine for the PlayStation 5, which is the first X-Men Wolverine, game that's come out in a very, very long time. It'll be out this year, I believe, or late 2024, early 2025.
Right.
But I'm just going to talk about a few of the aspects that I think are just great. Number one, the story. It's what I like about it is, without being spoilery, although the game has been out for 6 years, is it takes place after. It's not an origin story, right? So it takes place after Spider-Man is Spider-Man, and he's been Spider-Man for like a long time. He's already broken up with MJ. Like they've been they've been together. Doofus. And they've broken up. So there's that whole aspect of like, she knows he's Spider-Man. That's not a new thing, right? Right. Which I like. I think it's cool. He's already fought his rogues gallery, like all like the Scorpion and Vulture and all these villains, Mysterio. They're already like in prison. Like he's already fought them and captured them, and they're in prison.
Okay.
With the exception of Doc Ock, Dr. Octavius. And he's kind of the crux of the main story, and some other villains from Spider-Man lore that have not been explored in video games yet. And the story is really good. The voice acting is fantastic. It's very good. It's very believable. Yes, the characters feel real. It doesn't look like a 2018 game. It looks like a 2022 game. The graphics are very good, especially with the remastered quality to it. The landscape of New York. So from what I understand, what they actually did is they did like a scan of Manhattan, and that's the setting. Like it's actually Manhattan that you're exploring. Like it's the playable world is just humongous. And right from the beginning, you can go anywhere in Manhattan. It does have the sort of
nice. So it doesn't have any sort of artificial like
gating or anything. Now it does have the Ubisoft you do the tower to reveal the map sort of thing. It does have that.
Oh joy! Yeah.
But you can do that right from the beginning, and getting to those, it doesn't take long. Like I was nerdy about it. I went and I wanted to reveal the whole map from the very beginning before I did any story. And the whole thing...
It's a great way to explore and kind of learn the mechanics probably anyway, right?
Yeah. And the whole thing, it took me like 45 minutes to go from like the beginning of the game to reveal the entire map. It took me like 45 minutes of like swinging through the city.
Right.
The gameplay is fantastic, guys. That's probably the best aspect of it. Like, you feel like you're Spider-Man. The combat is so fluid, and you can like slide between people's legs and hit them in the back of the head, and you can web them to walls, and you can dangle them off sides of buildings and use them as punching bags, and like it's just...
That's one thing that I remember about all these Spider-Man games, whether it's footage I've seen of the current ones or what I remember about the previous ones. Spider-Man has this style, this affect that is like toying with them, these bad guys. Like, hey, Buster, what do you think you're doing? Terrorizing that lady. Come here. I don't know why he sounds like a Brooklyn punk, but
well, he is. But like, Spider-Man is literally from Queens, though. Also, like he's got a New Yorker accent, like in terms of the lore, right? And so he's got that mentality.
It's so cool to see that part of the sort of like quipping and goofing around that Spider-Man is kind of known for in the comics and elsewhere, translated into a game where even the combat is like toying with these guys and doing all this crazy stuff that like it's wildly impractical to waste the energy of sliding stylishly under someone's legs just so you can deck them in the back of the head and string them up to a lamppost. But like it's cool, so you get to do it, and that's rad,
Yeah. One thing I like is there is a difficulty setting, right? So I've been doing my whole playthrough on the next to highest difficulty. So there's like an easy mode, there's a normal mode, and I'm playing on like the quote hard mode of the game, and then there's the master mode or whatever they call it.
Sure.
I'm not playing on that, but I'm playing on the next hardest mode, and it's tough. I've died a lot in combat because the bullets, like when people use guns, the bullets do like real bullet damage. Like when you get shot like by an actual gun in the game, it almost kills you almost every time. Like actual bullets do actual bullet damage, which is cool.
It's kind of cool, yeah.
And I mean, you feel like a superhero, but not like all the way, right? Which I like.
Right.
So I've been having a blast. It's been great, guys. Like swinging through the city. I mean, it's super cool, and you can get also there's of course there's skill trees. Like there's all the trappings of a modern video game, right? Like there's all the skill trees and there's all the costumes and things there's tons of unlockables, which is again very common nowadays.
Yeah.
So I love it. I'm not going to give it like a score, but it's a blast.
Nice.
I love it. What I wanted to ask you guys.
Do you get to do the upside down kiss? Real quick. I'm sorry, Greg. Do you get to do the upside down kiss?
That was the first thing I tried in the game was like, what are you doing, man? Like, like that's a dog. You're trying to kiss upside down.
Dude, what?
I'm picturing Greg hanging upside down from a street light and like pressing X to
just like
kiss the sweet old woman minding her own friggin' business. There's this bag lady and friggin' queens walking across the street, and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, come on, do it."
It is pretty cool. Jeez. Like there are other aspects to the game that at first felt tacked on, but now I'm like, that's pretty cool. Like there's some detective elements where you have to like legitimately, there's some stealth things, right? Like where you have to use your Spider-Man skills, but like not get caught, right? Like you have to like web people up and pull them up into the shadows without getting caught, and like that. That's pretty cool. There's some like almost like what was Jake was talking about this in the pod a few weeks ago, like in BioShock, where you have to do little puzzles and stuff with like locking mechanisms and stuff. There's like there's some
unlocking like mini game stuff.
There's some of that with some mechanical things and electronic gizmos and things, and you can get as part of your skill tree, you can get like robotic spider drone that like webs people to walls for you, and like it's cool. It's very cool. It's very thoughtfully done. My question to you guys is, what do you think about licensed games? And when I say licensed games, for those of you out there that are true grass touchers and don't know what we're talking about, I mean licensed properties like X-Men or Spider-Man or Star Wars video games, or things that are legitimate franchises on their own before they were video games and they are licensed. Maybe it's a licensed movie video game. My personal, before you guys go off, and I'm sure you got lots of things to say about this, my personal opinion is I think that licensed video games are the most widely varied in terms of quality of any category of video game ever. Like, one of the greatest licensed video games is the Toy Story game for Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis. Like, that's...
Watch out.
You don't be around my laser, though.
Yeah, don't be around my laser goes off. That's a fantastic game. But you could also probably name 100 terrible Toy Story video games, right?
Sure.
Spider-Man is kind of similar. There's, 5 or 6 that are fantastic and probably 10 or 15 that are just terrible. I think that licensed games, X-Men's the same way, and although X-Men's had a pretty good track record for video games, I think, honestly. But Star Wars, great example. Perfect example.
Oh, gosh.
Star Wars. So I mean, you've got Knights of the Old Republic, you've got Rogue Squadron, and you've got Jedi Outcast, and you've got Jedi Knight, fantastic games. You've also got 30 other horrifically bad Star Wars video games. And so,
yes.
What are y'all's thoughts on licensed video games?
I think it's challenging to talk about because of what you just said. I think you're totally right. It's not really a genre. It's a classifier that we're putting on things that what we're really talking about here is the corporate problem and the franchised media problem. You can say this about movies. There's too many Marvel movies. There should be a lot fewer in the world. They shouldn't have made like half of them. Like they should all be ashamed of the cash grab.
Captain Marvel
nonsense.
Or the Marvels are perfect examples of just. Yeah.
And so the problem is not unique to video games, but when something that is meant to be as unique as a video game, and by that I mean it's this piece of interactive media. It can tell a story, but also let you be in the story. It can give you freedom or no freedom, but either way, it's a distinct type of art. and there's just way too many examples of it going poorly for you to like. The fact that it's a licensed franchise of some kind crossing over into the video game space doesn't mean anything good or bad on its face. You got to judge it like any other video game because there's no telling if it's going to be any good or not. What's interesting is I am way more likely to give a little slack to a game that is a game only and not part of some other franchise media. And I'm going to judge franchise media really harshly because there's something for me to compare it to. If you make a video game about a book, then I'm going to read up a little bit. Like if the Dune series that just came out by Denis Villeneuve, if Dune was never a movie and it went from being Frank Herbert's Dune, the books only, straight to a video game, it would be honestly probably really rad.
Flowers
but
for Algernon,
I have
the game.
Flowers for Algernon? Are you kidding me? Let's do it. If it hasn't already been done, it needs to be done.
Waiting for Godot just never ends.
Just never. War and Peace. You never finish it. There's a lot of jokes that write themselves, people. That's what you come here for, is that real 30-something learned humor.
As Ron White would say, there are some things, folks, that are exactly as they seem. Pilot whales wear dark sunglasses. Right?
That's right. That's right. There's a harshness that I'm going to bring to franchise media because I have something to compare it to. And so when you make a Star Wars game, you got, at least for me, you got two things working against you. I know too much about Star Wars because I'm a giant loser. And there's lots of good Star Wars media out there that I need to judge your game against if I'm going to put it into context. So when you make Knights of the Old Republic, I go, yes, please. More of that, sir. Please. Thank you, sir. May I have another? Like, I need that. I need that in my life.
Yes, more of that.
Yeah. More of that, please. I think I will. Thank you. If you make Lego Star Wars 42069, I'm going to say, yourself. I'm sick of it. Stop making Lego games. I know that they sell like hotcakes. I know that kids are always going to love Legos. I love Legos. I don't think we need more of those.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're cute. I know they're creative. I know they're surprisingly delightful to play. But it's just so obvious that you're printing money over there at your game studio, and it sucks. It sucks. It's icky. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I think there's too many video games, and people should stop making half of the video games that are currently in development. I think there's too many Marvel movies. I think we should cut that out. You know what I mean? I think
There's
that's
too much Star Wars crap.
There is. I have high hopes for the Acolyte, but we'll see, right? I think generally speaking, there needs to be less content and more quality. But I know I won't get my wish because capitalism is a hellscape. I'm okay with capitalism being a hellscape because it means certain things. But this is what we get, right? This is what we get for our hubris. This is what we get for the cash cow. This is what we get for the printing money. You have pretty low quality at a certain point, and I think the video game space is not invulnerable to weaponized IPs just being forced all over your vision, your field of vision. If you look at all the media that's possible for you to consume, like 90% of it is some sort of licensed media from some IP. It's like I want originality, or I want extreme quality, and I think that's the only way to go. So, but anyway, I know that was a rant.
No, yeah. Only 90s kids will understand how jaded you can be from licensed video games, because back then is like your grandma would buy you, like, for instance, Gabby just got done quitting trying to beat the Grinch for PlayStation 1 on my retro.
The Grinch?
The Grinch.
Is that a video game?
And it's actually a hard game, by the way.
It's extremely hard, but half of it is it's first of all, it's developed by Konami, which is hilarious because back in the day, video games were not commonplace enough in the States. They weren't respected enough that they're just like, okay, who makes video games? We can make money off this, so let's just this Japanese company, let's just have them make it. And it, like, the voice actor is like clearly not Jim Carrey. It's based it released as part of the Grinch movie starring Jim Carrey, like as part of that package. And
That's wild
and
to
his
me.
voice is just totally not him.
I guess it's because I didn't have a PlayStation, but I would never have known that came out. It doesn't surprise me because of everything I just said. But
My brother and I had that game for Dreamcast, actually.
Oh my God, Mamma Mia! Oh no! Wow, bro. Where's that disc right now? That how the Grinch Stole Christmas Dreamcast disc right now.
On eBay selling for $1 million.
My particular one's probably in my mom's storage unit in Central North Carolina now.
Yeah. Dig that up, please, for us. But yeah, I think that there was a time when there was such little accountability. Video games were. It was just cool to be playing a video game most of the time. And when you're a kid, especially...
Literally any video game.
Right.
Tamagotchi, Pokemon, The Grinch for Dreamcast, it didn't matter.
The Grinch for Dreamcast. Especially when it's marketed towards kids, it becomes extremely easy because I remember playing games when I was younger that are objectively really bad games that I just loved. I didn't care. I didn't know that it was a bad game.
Right.
But you're right. The franchise games are such an interesting thing because... and more, it's become commonplace to get big, reliable studios to make them because now people are like, we have all these review outlets and everything, and people go to Metacritic and they're like, even children are like, this game is dog. I'm not playing this game. You know,
there's some 9-year-old flaming everyone in the comments.
Right.
This game sucks.
Right. So yeah, it's interesting. It's good. I think it's good for everybody. But to Jake's point, the saturation of content and like you're saying, the collaboration is so shameful. It's shameful that Marvel makes as many movies as they make, but it's shameful by a factor of 10 to me that Lego is just like, hey, let's just get together with this already massively popular and profitable franchise. And we'll just cook an entire generation of kids. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Lego Indiana Jones. I mean, the amount of... That was like a game that they included in Xbox 360s for like a year.
Yeah.
Like it's sold with the console. And it's not even that it's a bad game. It's just absurd to me that how easy it is for the rich to get richer just by going like... hey, we own the rights to this thing, and these other rich guys, or maybe it's the same rich people, we own the rights to this. Let's just smash them together and sell them. You know what I mean? It's like the possibilities are endless, but the consumer ends up losing. Kind of ends up losing Absolutely. In the end.
Right. Because the consumer was never in the center of that conversation in the first place. And
right.
you notice they always choose franchises that have multiple iterations. There's so much Harry Potter content.
Oh, my gosh.
What is it, 9 movies or whatever? So they can do The Sorcerer and the Stone, and they can do The Prisoner of Azkaban or whatever. They can do all these different ones. They can make a game for every movie. And then they can go to Star Wars, and they can go Star Wars the original trilogy, and then they can go actually Star Wars Phantom Menace Lego, and then Attack of the Clones Lego, and then Revenge of the Sith Lego. Oh, by the way, now there's Force Awakens Lego. Now by the way, there's Baby Yoda's Adventures or whatever. You know, like we're just gonna keep going because
you're not even kidding though. That's not even we're not even far off where they're like the Mandalorian Lego for coming to you to the Xbox Series X Lego Mandalorian Baby Yoda edition.
Yes.
And there's some retarded kid who's like, I want it.
Well, I will say one of the things that has never made sense to me is, and I'm a big MCU fan. I like the MCU. I agree with Jake. There are far too many MCU movies. There are far too many. However, in general, they're made with a pretty high level of quality, especially the mainline Avengers movies and the first 10 years that MCU was around.
I think it just depends on what you mean by quality, but that's a discussion for another day, I suppose.
For sure. I agree. But something I always found hilarious is like, look at X-Men 97, where X-Men 97 is only on Disney Plus, and it's amazing. It's animated, but it's got Cyclops, and it's got Jean Grey, and it's got Professor X, and all the things. But yet, Marvel still... The MCU still will not have anything X-Men basically involved with it at all because they're not licensed by Sony. Sony has not given up the license yet for real life actors to portray the X-Men yet, at least at fully. And so there's this weird, like, we can do it animated, but we don't have the license to do it, for real, with real actors.
So dumb.
It's so funny to me. It's like, and finally, Deadpool is like, actually, this new Deadpool movie that's coming out next month is like the first one to actually have like Wolverine as part of the MCU.
Dude, I haven't seen the Deadpool flicks because to me they're forever associated with my middle school students that were constantly in school suspension. Because they were always wearing a Deadpool like hoodie and quoting it, and then like, I'm going to my dad's house this weekend, so I don't have my trumpet. Right. Like, shut up,
lighting things on fire.
So there's like a whole cloud of Deadpool like personification that I just refuse to engage with. But Hugh Jackman as Wolverine slaps, rocks, very very good, and I would probably check that out. I think that is an example of a legitimately interesting idea that hopefully will be played off well. It's no less a cash grab, but at least that one has something to stand on other than, because here's the thing, they know long-term planning, right? It blows my mind, by the way, that people sat in a boardroom for days and days and days and planned out phases of Marvel Cinematic Universe like releases that I don't know how anybody didn't just blow their brains out all over the conference room table right then. That sucks to me. And they have to plan like, all right, by this time we hope to have the rights to this. So we have to write into the plot of this film a reason that so-and-so isn't there because we don't have the rights to it. Like corporate America is directly affecting the content of the art you're consuming right there.
Retconning characters into things, bringing them back from the dead, stuff like that. And it's like, people are like,
no one's ever really gone.
Yeah, cool. So he's back because he was resurrected by the Power Stone of the Northern Realm, and it's like
you have all these suckers that they buy into the MacGuffin theories of these movie plots that are so hackneyed. And it's like
boardroom
actually
full of old guys who are like, how do we make more money off of this? How do we bring him? Let's just bring him
One
back.
day,
just write him in.
My kids are going to start to be more hip to this kind of stuff. Benson already loves superheroes, and Maxwell does too. But Benson has like costumes. He dresses up as Spider-Man all the time. Like he's adorable.
We had a whole Knuckles phase. I just want to point out
there was a Knuckles and Sonic phase. He's got the Mandalorian costume. He has a 1-to-1 size scale Nerf blaster of the Mandalorian's disruptor rifle thing. Nice. He broke it in a week. But there's all this awesome stuff that my kid has because he really does love comic books, and the more he gets into this stuff, he's going to ask all these questions. It's like, now Dad, what happened in Thor Ragnarok? And I'm going to go, a lawyer, just a lawyer. If you ask me why blank in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm going to say, it's either a lawyer or Kathleen Kennedy. Any question that you have about any content on Disney Plus, that's probably the answer.
Right.
And that's frustrating. There's a Red Letter Media video called "No One's Ever Really Gone" that if I haven't already shared it with you, and I do feel like I have, you should go watch on YouTube. Just type in "No One's Ever Really Gone" because it addresses this kind of thing that, for the sake of being able to pull them out of their friggin' graves later, like Harrison Ford or whoever, no one is ever dead. No one is ever really gone in any franchise because they can just be reportrayed by somebody else or with the magic of CGI.
Right.
And in that video, it shows a shot of Princess Leia, and then it shows Carrie Fisher, and then it shows like the CGI Carrie Fisher, and it's like, even when people are really gone, they're never really gone.
Right.
It's like, this sucks, man. Like, but I don't know.
Dude, we need to go back to making video games that make me want to buy soda and pizza, dude. Cool Spot, they made a whole game. They're like, hey, that red circle on the 7-Up bottle? Let's make a video game on it. Like,
what are you talking about?
Cool Spot. You guys never played Cool Spot?
No?
Dude, Cool Spot for the Genesis and for the Super Nintendo. It's literally a game where you play as the red dot from the 7-Up can.
Are you
and
serious?
It rocked. It was an awesome game, dude. It was so much fun.
I almost fell out of my chair. Dude, you got to be kidding me.
They had Yo Noid, the guy from the Pizza Hut.
I think I've seen a video about that.
It was Pizza Hut or Domino's. I think it was Pizza Hut. But the Noid from I think that's what it was, from Pizza Hut. That was a game just like games where they're like, we want to sell people more pizza. Let's make a whole freaking video game on it. We just stopped doing that.
I wish they didn't go overboard with the codes under the Mountain Dew caps and like that kind of stuff. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I remember when Cyberpunk 2077 had first come out, they had a promo with Rockstar, and you could buy a can of Rockstar, and there was like a code on it. And I would go, and this is so stupid because the hype for that game was so real. People started hoarding the cans. They would go to gas stations and like take out all the rock stars and like take pictures of all the codes and put them back, and then go home and like redeem them. And you were redeeming them for points, and those points I think were in-game currency, probably. Anyway, I remember that coming out. Was it maybe Halo 3 or something? You know, there were some titles that Mountain Dew and Doritos or whatever would partner with these game companies
because they knew their target audience. I mean, let's
yeah, dude. Code Red, Cool Ranch, let's rock.
It's to catch the people who are at the checkout spending their last government provided, food stamp dollar
rolling up in a rascal scooter,
right, on cheese balls and ramen, and they're teetering. They're like, I want to get that bottle of Code Red, but I can't really afford it has a Halo 3 code on it. That's what it is, dude. It's people who are already probably going to buy it, but it just pushes them right over the edge, dude.
That's right, dude. That's right. Hey, real quick, best gamer soda. Go-to gamer soda from back in the day.
I don't think I ever really related my gaming to soda like most of the kids. That's
interesting. I felt like it was part of the vibe if I wanted to get into the flow,
Probably Code Red, not because of like any particular reason, but just because it was like, yeah, like it's not just a regular night. It's like we're having fun. We're gonna get Code Red because like mom and dad hate this because it's trash, but they're getting it for us because we're having our friends over. That's usually what it was. I guess
So sick. Yeah.
Mine Greg, was so I was Mountain Dew Code Redded out because my dad and my stepmom, for years when I was growing up, their go-to soda was Diet Mountain Dew Code Red. Was what they would drink. We had
buddy.
We had 4 or 5 2-liters of that in the house at all given times. And so
one for each of you.
So one for each of us. And so my go-to was regular Mountain Dew because I never got to have the real stuff. And so when we would have gamer nights, or I would want to be playing video games like, playing Knights of the Old Republic with my controller under my sheets, it would be regular Mountain Dew. So,
if you want to see Dag crack open a cold 2-liter of Diet Mountain Dew Code Red Diet, give me a hell yeah!
Hell yeah! I need to crack open some ice cold Dagweiser. Oh man. Tell me if this rings a bell or not. Do you remember the kind of like offshoot, I guess, of Mountain Dew, probably from PepsiCo, called Vault?
Vault, yes, I remember Vault.
It was an energy soda.
Yeah.
It looked like an Xbox like wrapper. Almost.
It was a very cool logo. I'll have to look it up. Vault was an energy soda where energy drinks had become popular, but some people were still like scared of them. Like, I don't know. Should I have that? I don't know. I certainly am not going to give it to my 13-year-old child and his buddy for Xbox night, But Vault, I bought a 12-pack of this stuff one time, and it's just like a citrusy kind of Mountain Dew offshoot. And they had a red one, so they were clearly imitating Mountain Dew because there was Vault Red, whatever. Red Blitz or something. This is what it looked like. Copy image. Open chat. There's John Arcuckle from last week. It was sick, dude. It was like, it's been discontinued for a long time. I'm sure you can't find it.
I remember Vault.
But yes. I had a 12-pack of this, and me and a buddy split it one night, and it was sick. There was that. I also remember Mountain Dew Livewire. It was like their orange soda variant.
Yeah.
My buddy Clay, friend of the pod, Clay Maxey, he had a hardcore relationship with Livewire. Like every time he saw one, he would buy one.
Nice.
In 12 packs or whatever. And then I also remember, I feel like this was in college though, where I was like home for a summer. Baja Blast was finally put out in cans. I think I got
Baja
that. And
Blast.
Voltage. The blue one. Did you guys have the blue Mountain Dew Voltage?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That one was good. I actually thoroughly enjoyed that one. I made a mixed drink with that in college one time. It was very yummy.
Baja Blast to this day is my favorite variant of Mountain Dew.
Oh, dude, it's hard to beat. It's real hard to beat. Baja Blast has a new one that's like,
Dude, that
friggin' mango lemonade or something. Yeah, Mountain Dew Baja Mango Gym.
Dude, that's a
There's
very
like a new
Jimmy
one.
Buffett soda right there. But the dude, the Taco Bell exec that secured the Baja Blast exclusivity is getting laid right now, dude. And has been since
Baja
then.
Blasted.
Dude, he is that
That's Baja.
in the Baja. A silo full of tortillas in the Baja. Dude, seriously, like the amount of cash that's probably rolled into those Taco Bells just from that endorsement alone. People wheeling in there at 2 a.m. to just pick up a what is it? What was the value menu? Some kind of Bel Grande like value menu item with the Baja Blast. Go home, stay up another 2 hours watching Judge Judy, paid programming.
It's hard to be sitting
getting
in your rascal scooter.
Yeah, dude.
It's hard. It's hard to
Yeah,
beat. It's hard to beat a good Baja Blast on a hot day, man.
You guys You guys are killing me, man. You're ruining my whole night right now. I haven't had Taco Bell in like a year. I need it.
Really? Wow.
I need it.
Good on you. Listeners, there was a time where Jared was absolutely wrecked by Taco Bell addiction.
Bro.
We would be playing Apex Legends, and he'd be like, "Jake, should I get it? There's a deal on DoorDash. Should I get two of them? I'm gonna get two of them." You're getting like spicy Doritos Locos Tacos or something. I don't know.
Nacho cheese and the taco and her $1. Should I get it? And you're like, I don't care. Do whatever you want. I'm like, well, I don't want to. It's like I'm like a drug addict. I'm like, I don't want to do it a lot. Just give me a reason to do it.
You're
Just
like
give me
looking
an
for
excuse.
approval so hard. Yeah.
Right.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny, dude. Oh my god.
Night is over, bro.
I actually bought this is so tangential, but there's a disc golf company called Trash Panda Disc Golf. They only make discs out of recycled plastic. And I recently ordered they do factory seconds where like there's a slight imperfection to the disc, but it still throws fine. And so you get it at a discounted rate. I got a putter and a mid-range from them. They're about to come out with a driver, but they only have those two discs like available. They have a disc, the color of which is Baja, because somebody made a mistake while trying to make what they termed the ice color, which is just like slightly opaque but like translucent, sort of like see-through. Yeah. Somebody left a little bit of blue in the machine, and so it came out looking the exact color of Baja Blast.
Whoa.
And so they released a color of it called Baja, and it slaps. And I'm gonna find a picture of it somewhere. Let's see. There it is, Baja. It's so sick. I have one of these now, and I'm very happy. You can go there and click Baja, and you'll see the color. It's very cool. It's a putter. Yeah, Baja Blast is a cultural phenomenon, and I'm so thankful that I get to live in this timeline that Baja Blast exists.
Wow, it really does. It really does.
Incredible stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining on this epic journey of nostalgia and complaining and sharing our successes and our frustrations. Video games are cool, but they're only as cool as the people you get to play them with, right? It's all about the hang. So thank you for hanging with us for a little while, listening to episode 27. I can't believe. Be sure to follow us on Instagram. Check us out on YouTube. That's both at 3 Grass Touchers. We've got some more stuff coming. Recently uploaded a short clip from PUBG. Let us know what you think. I want to hear some interactions. The DMs are always open wide, and let us know what you want us to discuss or play or review. Thank you so much, as always, for listening. So until next time, don't you dare forget, get out there and touch some grass.
Yes. Do it now.